Hey, yeah, you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You are definitely worth it. Episode number 2.
Yeah. And what are we talking about this episode?
This is your episode, so you tell me.
Okay, so that's all on me. Okay, so our idea for this one was to kind of just go over the father-daughter relationship as a whole, just being away, how we've grown, how things have been on your end, how things have been on my end, and just going over every aspect of it. So let's start with this.
All right. The father-daughter blueprint.
Yes. What is your view of what it means to be a dad?
Well, ironically, my thoughts around being a father is being involved. And so obviously it's sort of, I almost come across a little hypocritical, right? When I say that, because I moved 3,000 miles away. But no, I mean, but even so, if you do remember, I was still involved. I mean, I would call
Right.
you guys, if you remember, even in school, when you guys had books that you had to read, when your teachers assigned you books, remember, I used to buy the same books out here so that I could read along with you because I wanted to be involved. I wanted to be involved as much as I could. Obviously, I couldn't be involved on a day-to-day because of the distance. But so I would say involvement, being involved in your child's life, trying to sort of shape them, give them advice, help them sort of direct them in whatever. But the involvement, to me, a good father is being involved.
So a part of that I had left out, because at first I wanted to hear like that part of it, but it says at the end is like, especially from a distance. But I think you answered that as well, just like how you bought the same books and we would do that stuff over the phone. And we would travel out there for 6 weeks, every summer. You would come back for Christmas. It was just Christmas that you came back for, right? But we were kids, you stayed a while during that Christmas time, didn't you?
Yeah. We stayed. I mean, it depended. I mean, most of the time, I think it was anywhere from 7 to 10 days. There may have been a couple of times we extended it to New Year's. Yeah, it was a decent amount of time. So even during the Christmas holiday, we had time to sort of interact and be a part of each other's lives. But yeah, you're right. I mean, as far as that involvement in being in a distant relationship like that, we had to be creative, right? I mean, at the time too, early on, we didn't have like FaceTime, right? We didn't have that technology that
I do feel like had that been around during that time, it would have been a lot more of that. Because
most definitely.
I think, did we ever use Skype? Because I think we did, didn't we? Because you made me a Skype account.
I set us all up with Skype accounts so that we can do video chats and things like that. Now, the challenge was making certain you guys had computers on your end, right? I mean, I remember buying you guys computers a couple times in order to make certain. I
still remember the password, and it was password, but it was PASSW0RD.
I still use that. What the hell? No.
And the laptop, do you remember how they had the little ball mouse in the middle of the keypad? And it was like, I remember it was like a felt and it was red. Yeah. It was like bright red right there in the keypad. And it was like the coolest little thing to use instead of, yeah.
By the way, that's an IBM thing. Yes.
What is that laptop? Is that old?
No. This is one of my clients, ex-clients soon to be. Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing, what did being a girl dad mean to you? Were you scared about having girls? Were you like hoping for boys? Like how did that, when you heard, especially Megan being your first, when you knew, did you guys know before she was born that was a girl, or did you wait until, like, I'm not trying to sound funny or like age you, but like, did they have ultrasounds to where, I know they had ultrasounds, but did they like do the gender on the ultrasounds?
Back in the Stone Age days, What we used, no, no.
We used to pee in a
Yeah.
cup.
We used to throw the woman against the wall. If she stuck, it was a boy. If she fell, it was a girl.
Hand sold.
I do believe we found out what the sex was for both of you. And to answer your question, yes, obviously, men, the first thing we think of is we need to, pass on the name, keep that legacy, that name alive. To be honest, though, the first time when your sister was born, I was just, I was young, but I was just so amazed at what had happened and what just took place and what, your mom and I actually did, that it didn't matter whether it was a girl or a boy. I just wanted to make certain it was healthy.
Were you one of those dads that were like catching the baby as they're coming out? Like, did you watch the whole thing and, do all that? Or were you like, I'll stay by your head and hold your hand?
No, I was in the room. I stayed by your mom's head. I'm trying to remember, and maybe your mother could shed a little light on this. I think it was with your sister, but we had gone through the Lamaze class. We did all that stuff, right? What I remember was the doctor kept saying, make sure she's breathing, make sure she's breathing. And there was this technique called blow the candle out, right? So you have to put your finger, blow the candle out, right? It got literally down to the wire and she was struggling and they're like, she needs to breathe. And what I think, and once again, this was such a chaotic moment for me. I was young. Things were happening so fast. But I thought, when I think back now, I think I actually mounted your mom or got up on your mom. I'm like, you better blow this candle out. That's what I remember. Now, granted, hang on.
You were involved.
Right. Now, when your mom tells a story, it might be more like, nah, he fell asleep. He passed out. He was over in the corner. He was dreaming. I don't know. But that's what I remember was really, I was more concerned about your mom and what she was going through in that moment, because once again, this is new to us. I'm 21 years old, I think. And I'm going, this is chaotic. And, yeah, but to answer your question about, that whole father having a daughter, once I got past that sort of shock and awe of what just happened, immediately I start thinking, oh my God, I got to protect this thing. I got to make sure no other guy like me ever gets close to her. Right?
Did you think you were going to be a good father to girls? Did you have a standard for yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. I was worried that I was going to fail as a father of a daughter, only because I knew who I was growing up, right? And I think to myself, oh, I played a lot of tricks on parents, especially dads who never knew, right? I got away with a lot of stuff. And so that's what was going through my mind, is like
payback.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I don't know what friend it was that I told that to. I'm like, yeah, God gave me a daughter because it's time to get paid back.
It's probably Antheus. I think the last time you guys talked was when you had your Instagram, like years ago, your Morganism Instagram, Daily Morganism Instagram. But yeah, he's on there.
I think that was like 2012. In fact, that was, I think it was when, remember the whole ice bucket challenge was going around?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah. I think that was around the 2012 time frame. And somebody ended up tagging me to do it. And so I did it. And I needed to tag, I think, 2 people. And Antheus was one of the people that I tagged. And what was ironic was at that moment in my life, I hadn't talked to Antheus probably probably 12, 13 years, maybe 15 years. Haven't talked to him, hadn't said anything, but we were connected. And I'm like, I challenge Antheus. And I can only imagine when he's scrolling through his feed that time, he's going, what the hell? I haven't talked to this cat in like 15 years. Why is he challenging me?
Honestly, I think he reached out to me to try to get a hold of you. I think it was when his mom had passed or something. Can't remember. It was like in our messages. Yeah, that was around that time, because I think he had screenshot your Instagram and he was like, is this him? And I was like, that's the only social media, because I didn't want to give him your number because I don't know where you left off with people, and I'm like, I don't want to just give out numbers, So I was like, yeah, that's the only social media he has. Yeah, that's it. So what we were saying about with the girl dad stuff, how has that changed being let me tell a funny story real quick. Okay, you're about 45 when I got the call that you were having another baby. Mind you, I was 21. Your youngest child was 21 years old. And this is what just goes through my head when I think about it because it's hilarious now. The way I talked to you when you were telling me and like how you told me, it felt like roles reverse when I was trying to tell you when I was pregnant at 16. And I'm sitting there going,
Yes.
what are you thinking? Do you not know what condoms are? So it was like a moment of roles reverse on
Yeah.
what the hell
Yeah.
are you thinking? But
You know, it's funny. It's hearing you say this now. I'm like, oh my God, she's right. The roles flipped at that. You're right.
yeah, because it's
Absolutely,
like you're a
100%.
little bit nervous to say, because it's not like it's
Yeah.
a bad thing, but it's still like, oh my God, like, I'm 45 and I'm about to, you're still getting worked up, probably the same way I was worked up, like, oh my God, I gotta tell him, I gotta tell him, I gotta tell him, I gotta tell him. I can't keep it from him. I can't, so it was great. But being that there's a 21-year age difference between me and my little sister, who, funny enough, looks more like me than my own children look like me. And I can't have them look like me. I don't know what it is in my genes, but they don't look like me. But yet Audrey and me share. And I think it's the dark features. I think it's
Yeah.
the dark features, which we got from you at one point.
Yeah, right. Right. Long before this. But it's funny you say that because we've got devices throughout our house, whether it's an Echo screen, our refrigerator has a big monitor built into it. And so we've got pictures, digital pictures everywhere you go in our house in terms of, and 99.9% of them are of Audrey, right? They're, because I'm the tech guy, so I'm making certain I get, So I was walking by. I don't know if it was a refrigerator or one of the Echo screens or something, and I saw one of her pictures, and I had to do a double take because I thought it was a picture of you when you were a kid. Because you guys look so much alike in that. So it's funny
Yeah.
you say that. I see the similarities as well.
I do think her features are a little bit darker than what mine were at her age, because I feel like my dark hair really didn't set in until like a little bit later. Like I had brown hair and stuff, but it was a little bit lighter. But hers, her features, her hair, like her eyebrows, her hair, they're dark.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think you were a little softer brown versus hers is a little bit, deeper brown.
Like a
Yeah.
natural black almost. Where I was going with that is being that there's a 21-year age difference. Was there any new fears or different fears from when we were little versus now?
So ironically, when Audrey was born, I was glad it was a girl, number one.
Because
And the
you
reason,
already knew.
yes. So that was the thing. So I'm like, oh, I've got this one in the bag because I've already seen two kind of grow up, right? So I'm like, I got this. This is familiar. If I'm going to have to start over again, I would prefer to do it with something I'm familiar with because I'm like,
Right.
I wasn't expecting to start over, so I'm like, oh, you got that sort of fear of like, oh, I got to do this
Shock.
again. Exactly. But if I'm going to do it again, I would rather do it with something that I'm familiar with. So at least,
Right.
I don't have to relearn too many new things. Right.
Right.
So yeah. So I wasn't as scared. Obviously, your sister was the first, so I was petrified. When you came along, I'm like, oh, we didn't break the first one, so we should be okay here. Right. And then when Audrey was born, I'm like, thank God it's a girl because I kind of have an idea what that's like. And I prefer
Right.
that sort of comfort, that familiar comfort. I was going to ask you a question. So let me flip it on you a little bit. So what did you think about that? You asked me, what was it like having that relationship 3,000 miles away? We always hear about the daddy's girl or the mommy's boy. What was that like having your father 3,000 miles away growing up?
I feel like as a child, maybe I didn't think of it being so hard because you did keep in contact over the phone. We were going out there 6 weeks. Obviously, I probably had a lot of days where I'm like, man, I wish my dad was here. But I've always been, since I was little, a mommy's girl. I remember I would spend the night across the street at a friend's house and call at 1 o'clock in the morning saying, open the front door, I'm coming home. And because I slept. I slept in mom's bed like up until I met Austin almost. If I never met Austin and she never moved out of the house, we'd still be like snuggled up in bed. Um so but there were times that were a little bit hard. I will never forget I still remember the feeling that I felt when my class went on a school field trip, the Nutcracker. We went and watched the Nutcracker live,
Oh,
but I was
oh yeah, yeah,
waiting
yeah.
in line on a field trip with my friends. Mind you, my father lives 3,000 miles away, and I'm just waiting in line. And I look over, and who's that? My dad, all the way in Ohio, randomly didn't call me, nothing. And I'm like, like what? And I remember getting like the butterflies. I was so excited because I'm like, I would expect to see anybody, literally anybody, except my dad. And I think you called. I think you called later. Did we end up seeing you? Did you end up coming and getting us or at all on that? I can't remember because I know
Yeah,
that you had a work thing and it was like
yeah,
last minute or something. But it was. I mean that's one of those core memories that stay with me. The feeling and
yeah,
everything. But now I can say we were 1,000% blessed with Grandpa Ron. Like
yeah.
he really took on that parental role, and I'm not even gonna just say like father role because he was there more than a lot. He would take us to school. I mean, he would literally take us to school every single day and forget to give us our lunch money so he could come back and bring it straight into the cafeteria to talk to the lunch ladies because he was just so talkative. But he really he played a very prominent role growing up. And I think if I didn't have him, the you being 3,000 miles away could have been way harder for me. But with him, I mean, we were at grandma's house literally all the time. So having him, I think, kind of cushioned that difficulty. But there was a lot of difficulty. And what kid doesn't want their dad there every day? But I
Right.
can say that has shaped me. The only thing that I have wanted for my kids was two parents in the household. And it not working out with Gage's dad was really, really tough to like handle because in my mind, I'm like, I don't care how he treats me as long as he's there. But then I
Yeah,
started realizing that he wasn't there even when he was there. So like, why? And then Austin came into our life and I'm like, this is the dad that I've wanted for my kids.
yeah.
That's been my goal is the two parent household. And
Yep.
thankfully it's not one of those situations where I'm like, gotta power through it for the kids. They
Yeah,
can leave. I
yeah.
don't care. My husband's amazing. Bye. I'm just kidding. Can't
No, I
wait
will
for them to
say,
move out. I'm just kidding.
Austin is the epitome of what a great father should be. I see it even from where I'm at because we do FaceTime quite a bit. Being on this side of the states, and I feel so great that he's in your life as well as your kids because he is such a good man. And so,
I
kudos to
call
Austin.
him my unicorn. He's my unicorn because I don't know what I did in life to get so damn lucky. Okay. I know I deserve a lot. Okay. But sometimes I don't even think I deserve him. He's so freaking awesome. And now he has had his own separate struggles in life that have caused rocky points in our relationship. Never cheating. Never. Don't ever settle for somebody who cheats. You don't stick through that. You don't power through that. Don't do that. So, I mean, we're not perfect, but he is the closest thing to perfect, and I swear I don't deserve him half the time because I'm mean
Yeah.
sometimes. Okay. So, anywho, now, do you have any memories? Was there ever a time growing up that if me or Megan were just like acting up so much that mom was like, I need you to talk to them. I need you to call. Like, was there ever a hard moment of parenting that you had to do like over the phone?
Yeah, there was. It was near the end too, before she ended up sending you guys out to California or sending Megan, and I demanded that you be part of the package deal. There was, I would say, there's a few
Megan
months
was so
leading.
bad.
Yeah, there was a few months leading up to that because I remember the summer of that year getting that phone call from your mom talking about how Megan's just doesn't listen, she's in trouble constantly. Send her out with to me. And there, in fact, in the summer, I believe it was in the summer before you guys, because it happened over the Christmas holiday. When I came back, you guys came back with me that Christmas holiday. But in that summer prior, your mom wanted me to come get your sister, and I'm like, well, it's fine, but I'm getting Samantha as well, and that's what put the hold on it, and that's why it didn't happen until the end of the year.
What I'm hearing is I was the favorite and everybody was fighting over me. Sorry, go ahead. Like, yeah, I'll take Megan. Yeah, you can have Megan, but Sam's coming too. Wait, hold on. When we first came out, was there a period where Megan was still like acting up, or did she like straighten up the second she was in California? Or did you have
No,
to put the whoop down on her?
yeah, right. So one of the challenges that we had every single summer you guys came out, I used to call it the deprogramming phase. No, deprogramming. Step one, deprogram you. Then step two, reprogram you. And so, but I will say that 2010. Well, remember, it was 2010 is when the thing sort of kicked off, right? Your mom calling me in the summer, going, come get her. She literally said, "Come get her. I'm done with her," kind of thing, right? And I'm like, that's fine. Samantha's coming with her. That stopped. And then near the end of the year, your mom was like, "Okay, fine, you can have Samantha too. Just take this crazy one," right? Right. So then you guys came back with us when we came home. So in January 2011, you guys are back with us. So we have that full year. And then January of 2012, your sister turns 18 and then she leaves. When you guys first came out, it was challenging. It wasn't even so much the deprogramming stage. It was just, your sister, she was, about to turn 17 that month when we, January of 2011, she's about to turn 17. She was her own person by then. She had her own mind set up on everything. So the deprogramming, that wasn't an option any longer. You guys were too old at this point. I couldn't, you guys were much smarter than what you were when you were 6, 7, 8, 9, right? At that younger age, deprogramming was not easy, but it wasn't difficult. In your teenage years, there was no such thing as deprogramming. So it was tough when you guys first moved out to California because of the challenge that we have with your sister. I thought, you know what? It'll be fine. You guys would be out with me. It's a different world, a different mindset. Your life was going to be completely different. Things will work itself out. That's what I think I was hoping for that.
Right.
And praying for that. Right. And quite honestly, you guys made me feel, a little bit at the beginning, like, yeah, we'll just keep, make Dad feel this way. And you guys were. I was thinking, oh, it's working. You guys are just being just as evil. I didn't know all the tricks yet.
Evil.
You brought a boy in the house.
Are you going to hold that one over me?
Yes. So for those of you who didn't watch episode 1, go back and watch episode 1.
I think overall, I was a good kid.
No, and here's the thing. I mean, and quite honestly, other than the things I don't know about or didn't know about, I mean, yeah, you guys were challenging, but you guys were typical teenagers, right? I mean, you guys, had your drama. You guys did the goofy stuff. I did stupid shit too when I was a kid, right? We all kind of have those moments, right? So it's not like you guys did not kill anyone. If it makes you feel
any better, I wasn't doing like drugs and stuff like that. Like okay, listen, did I try pot? Obviously.
Yeah.
The last time I'd smoked the devil's lettuce, I was 18 years old and I called 911 because I thought I was dying. Okay. Like I'm the type of person that I can't even take ibuprofen or Tylenol for a headache unless it's like crucial because I think I'm going to die.
Yeah. The way I look at it when I look back on everything, I mean, at least you guys didn't get pregnant on my watch.
You know what I did do? We used to, and I'm sure you know this because every kid does this and they think they're going to get away with it. So I hope you know this. We used to steal your liquor and just add water back into your liquor bottles.
Definitely.
Like,
my dad.
Why? Okay, hold on. If any teenagers are listening, don't do that shit.
Right? We know,
They
we see
know.
it.
They.
I did the same thing. My brother Jason and I, when my dad, we used to go visit him on the weekends when he did show up. He had a bar. Every episode, Bob, I'm taking a dig at you.
Screw you, Bob.
It goes deep. So no, but we did. Jason and I, we would drink his brandy and all his. We did half the stuff we didn't even know, and all we did was pour water back in, thinking like, "Oh, he'll never know." Teenagers are dumb.
They are. They really are. If you think your parents don't know, they do, except when you sneak a boy in the house. So the next thing, how do you think like having the step parent in the mix, did you think that made things difficult? Do you think it helped? Do you think like what was your thoughts on this like having the step parent? And I don't want to keep saying like I just mean in general having a
Right.
step parent in the mix.
So, well, what's interesting about that is it's a double-edged sword, right? Part of me was like, I'm glad because at least you had, a female figure
Right. Which
in
I
the
think is
mix.
very important anyway. Like
Most definitely.
with the whole teenage attitude, there was, conflict and issues, mainly teenage attitude, but having her there, especially during some real important times, like during my period, even though she wasn't there, but she was there to help you. That's super important.
Yeah, I mean, but then flip it a little bit. I mean, I know it had to be tough for her. You guys weren't her kids. I don't know if it ever went through her mind, like, well, if I tell them to sit down and shut up, is Rob going to get mad? I
Right.
don't know if any of that went through her head. I'm certain that she probably says, yeah, it did, and you know, I don't know. So there was definitely that from her perspective. It had to be tough.
Right.
Um, and then trying to blend it in. You guys had your little quirks. We had, her and I had our quirks, and trying to make those work. It was tough. It was challenging, but I would say, I mean, I liked it because there was, like I said, there was two people in the mix. It was like a family. It's the same thing that you're
Right.
doing with Austin and your kids. The same thing I'm doing with Audrey. It's like you want to create that family
Structure.
nucleus, right? That
Yeah.
structure, you know. And so it was important in that sense because I knew, when you guys were in Ohio, you didn't really have that sort of structure, that stability. Because if you think about it, for the most part, you guys were, or you were four, and Megan was, I think, seven when, I think it was 4 and 7 whenever
We're
we
two
got
and a half years
together.
apart.
Yeah. So then, but you guys sort of grew up with that,
Right.
with that dynamic on this
Yeah.
end. So that's really all you knew from this end. And so I know it sounds weird, but like a part of me is like, hey, at least I was able to give you some sort of sense of what a normal family would look like, even
No,
though we
and
had
I
our
get
challenges.
that. I get that, but I can say, I've told Austin I am the biggest hypocrite because there is no way I could be a step parent. I could not do it. There, if he would have had children before me, I'd be like, mm-mm. He's like, that's so hypocritical. You had a son. I'm like, yeah, but that's different. Um, that's different. I could not be a step parent. I couldn't because I feel like I'm not a kid person. Just because I have 3 kids doesn't mean I'm a kid person. Okay. I'm really
Same
not.
here, yeah.
But I couldn't, I think more as women because, hot take, don't know if I'm going to get canceled. A lot, not all, a lot of women, when they have an ex, and there's a lot of bitterness. And I know that because there for a very long time, I had that bitterness towards Gage's dad. Not when I met Austin. I'm like, I don't care what you do. Bye. But I couldn't deal with that part as being a woman dealing with another woman who is bitter or makes it difficult for the man to like move on and be happy. And that would be hard. I give it up to step parents because of what they deal with. Because it'd be
Most
hard
definitely.
because I would want to tell the kid to shut the hell up and sit down. What are you doing? But we can't do that all the time.
But you
Just to your
can.
own
I mean,
kids.
well, remember I had a stepfather too for a good chunk of my, teenage years and stuff like that. So, I mean, and we put him through hell, Ned. We put him through
Yeah.
hell, and and what's interesting is, if I don't know if Ned would ever see this episode, but if you do, buddy, I'm giving you props here, a little cred. So to this day, and I remember you used to do it to us all the time. We would take our glass or our dish, and we would either set it on the counter or just stick it in the sink. And Ned would go, the dishwasher's right there. Just open it up and stick it in. I'm doing that now. That's what I
Yeah.
say.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got that from him, but we gave him all kinds of shit. So I agree with you. My hat goes off to those parents who have stepchildren and who really, lean into it, right? And do a great job, because it's gotta be hard. I mean, to your point, it's hard with your own kids. If you know that they're not your kids, yeah, so you left them at the zoo. Who cares?
I'm not their mom. I think it's case by case thing, because like Austin, I didn't let him meet Gage for 2 months into our relationship, and then he did, and then it was like the rest was history. I remember the very first Gage, my oldest son's dad is not super involved all the time. So during that time, I'm trying to watch what I say, because like I don't want him to Gage to watch this back one day and be like, really?
Yeah.
But during the time that I first met Austin, Dad was ghost mode. Like, where did he go? Where are you at?
Yeah.
So for the longest time, it was just Austin. And I remember the first time Austin lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. We were getting like ready to move, because I think I was pregnant with Macy, because that's how far in this happened. I was in the bedroom. Austin was in the bathroom. Gage was like in the little living room by himself. And then he's like, Mom, Dad. And I opened the bedroom door. Austin opened the bathroom door, and we both looked at each other and we're like, did you hear that? And he was like, and Gage goes, Dad. And Austin goes, yeah, buddy. Yeah. And like Gage just asked like a simple question, like, can I have a snack or something? I was like, yeah, of course you can have a snack. Anything you want, bud. Anything at all.
Did you think their relationship in that moment changed?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Austin was like, I'm Dad. Nobody can tell me nothing. I am Dad. But I mean, Austin, they say that you're not supposed to treat kids differently, especially when it's a stepkid. But Austin's guilty of it, and he secretly likes Gage the most. I'll get on to Gage and be a little bit hard, and he's like, hey, chill. He's like, it's fine. I'm like, what the hell you mean?
He's
no,
up
like,
on my boy.
He's failing, and he's like, no, like he's good. Like he's good, But I'm joking on that. But their relationship's special, and even when Gage's dad has kind of like shown back up, Austin's always been the one on his side. Like I'm like, oh, Adrian's pissing me off. He's doing this, and Austin's like, relax, maybe. So, but that goes because, how much he loves Gage, but also Austin, very similar, very weird situation. Mom and him by themselves for the longest time. His dad was there, but weekends, mom meets a guy, stepdad for a couple years, and then all of a sudden sister, and then brother, like same exact situation, even down to like how the siblings, the age difference, everything. It's really weird. So Austin kind of dealt with like having that step parent predominantly in their life, because they moved to North Carolina. And his dad was all the way back in Ohio, and he would travel on the weekends, blah, blah, blah. So it's like he has a soft spot for Adrian and, Gage. And he's their biggest fan. Like, let's cheer on this relationship. Like do anything we can to make it happen. And I'm just like, why are you so perfect?
Right. Who cares about them?
Right.
He's the stable one. He's the stable one in your relationship.
He is. We balance each other out very well.
Nice.
Very well.
Nice.
His weaknesses are my, my strengths, vice versa. Like it's a very good balance. Nice. But
what else we got here?
Let's see. Oh, what changed after I had my son? How did that shift our relationship? Which I know we touched on a little bit, but let's talk more so like once we like reconnected, not
right. Let's get past the initial drama. And it's funny because when I was reading through this, that was one of the things that I remember once we got to a point where things sort of settled, and what I liked about the fact that you now have a child, right? You have a little boy. What I liked about it was a part of it was like, ha ha ha, now you're gonna figure out what it's like. We all do that, right? As
Right.
soon as we have
Hey,
kids, or as soon as our
Dad.
kids have kids, right? But the other thing too is like I thought, okay, this is going to settle her down. She's going to get hyper focused. And you know what? And it's true. You did. It seemed like whenever you had, your first child, whenever you started your family, so to speak, even though at the beginning, obviously, Gage's father wasn't really, involved as much, but yet you had a family. It seemed like there was something from the outside looking in. There seemed like there's something changed in you.
Right.
You grew up. You became very mature in a lot of the decisions that you were making. Prior to that, obviously, you were a teenager going crazy, like we all did. But it's like when you started having your children, I noticed a change in you that I was proud of. I'm like, oh, look, she's getting her shit together. She's trying to get focused. She's trying to create a life for her and her child, right? And so I loved it. I mean, I love the idea of you finally coming together and figuring it out.
Right.
But it was a
Yeah.
noticeable change in you.
No, well, that's good to hear. Because I did have like a lot of people being negative about the situation with Gage. Like, I remember when I did finally like kind of put it out there on social media because I'm like, I'm on
Oh,
it. I gotta, a lot of people from California were like, talking schmack. And so were
yeah.
and I'm just like, it was more of a, like, obviously, I got my stuff together because my child, but I also wanted to be like, screw you guys,
I'll
watch
show
this,
you. Right.
right?
I'll show
Right.
you.
All right. So I mean, I felt the shift. It was like, I I talked, I think, before about the whole frontal lobe developing.
Yep.
That's like a whole nother shift, like later in life. And when people joke about it, it is so serious. Like, there is something that develops. You wake up one day and you're like, why the hell did I make any of these choices in my life? What the
Right. It
fuck?
clicks. Yeah.
But like, even with like getting pregnant at 16, something semi clicked. I'm like, we got to do something about this. Like,
Right.
we got, we got to grow up a little bit right now.
This shit
We don't
just
have,
got real.
we don't have long. We don't have long. So I felt the shift and definitely realized. I mean, after Gage, there was still stupid choices I made.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's not going to, yeah, a child isn't going to make you suddenly become smart and you do all things right.
and
No, what
it's
it does
not
is
gonna
just,
fix relationships either, people. He's not gonna
no, it
love
doesn't.
you because you have his kid.
I mean, but so you're still going to make, kind of goofy decisions because we're still young at the, even whenever your sister was born, your mother and I were 21 years old. I mean, we still had moments of stupidity. We were still young. We were still learning, right? We were still growing and trying to build experience in life. So, but I mean, the main thing is at least you recognized it, right?
Right.
Look, there's
What do
a
you
less stinkier pile of shit to step in.
what I say about my relationship that I had after Adrian is the perfect metaphor, maybe? I don't know. I always say, and maybe we can dive into this in a whole nother episode because it will probably be an episode in itself. The man that I met after Adrian, I say I thought was my knight in shining armor, but it turned out he was actually the devil in tinfoil. So, what do
Where
you
we at?
think helped us start to understand each other? Do you think it was? Let me answer.
Okay. No, good.
age and
What's your thoughts?
age and experience. As far as
Yes.
like when I started going through stuff, like maybe that you had went through, maybe I called, get advice. The age, the maturing, I think helped me on my end understand you, which then in turn helped you understand me.
Yeah. And sadly, and I know this seems weird again, but once you became a parent, once again, that sort of shift happened with you. Things are still kind of crazy. It might not have been right away. It might have been a few years after that. But I felt like when we started really connecting, because we had some, there was some commonality now. You were going through, you know, being a parent in sort of those earlier years. I was not as young, but I was still a young parent as well. So
Right.
there was some we could relate a little bit on that level. And quite honestly, it's just I felt like, to your point, some of the conversations that really when I think about when we started really clicking and connecting, and I think back, is when the conversations were mature, were sort of based on experience. I mean, when we have the political conversations, when we have the religious conversations, those conversations, and I think back, it reminds me a lot of the conversations that I would have with, Grandma Debbie, right? Because those are Grandma Debbie and I would have those same sort of political or religious or whatever kind of conversations. And I was having them with you as well. Different approaches or different ideas
Right.
behind it, maybe even a little bit of different ideology. But the fact that you were having those mature conversations with me, that's to me, it was like, she's here. Welcome to the party. That's kind of what was going
Welcome.
through my mind. And then here's the thing though. Then I looked forward to talking to
Right.
you. Not to say that I didn't look forward to talking to you when you were younger. I knew what the conversation was going to be when you were
Right.
younger. Drama,
What'd
drama,
you call
drama,
her?
drama, right? you know, but 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 whenever we started getting into some of these conversations, what was great about it too is we weren't always agreeing on the things, the
Uh,
topics, right? We had different perspectives, but I liked that healthy debate that we had.
I was just say, I feel like out of everybody in my life, there are, a few people that I can tell anything to, that I can talk to about anything, Austin being one, like, but you are one of those people that I'm like, this is on my head. Let me call dad, get his like take on it. Or like maybe I'm just so pissed off or just something going on. And I'm like, let me talk to dad because I know there's no judgment. Even
Right.
if we disagree on something, there's still like that level, like you're not screaming at me going, I didn't raise you to be like this. I had a couple of those conversations. Um, so like, it's like, you're easy to talk to. You're easy to talk
Oh yeah.
to. And even if we don't see eye to eye, I feel like we're just so similar that it's like, I see your point or you see my point,
Right.
or
So
because the
that's a
thought
great point.
process is similar.
Exactly. We're looking at them sort of in those angles, even though you may be coming in a different angle than I am, but we're still in that angled approach. So we may not agree, but I go, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. And you're the same
Right.
with me. It's like, I don't agree with it, but yeah, I kind of understand your logic behind your thinking and how stupid it may be.
Now, did you and Grandma Debbie have the same type of like banner that we have? Like, did you have that, dark humor jokes, or was it more you and her? She just giggled. You know what I mean? Like, was
That's
it?
what it was. It was the latter there. So there was still dark humor. There was still goofiness. And one thing that she used to always say to me was like, because I mean, sometimes she'd call, she'd be down in the dumps or whatever because of whatever she was going through. And, she'll be like, I'm so glad I got to talk to you because you made me laugh and I feel so much better. And so to your point, a lot of times, now granted, she would talk and she would throw in her little humor where she could, but for the most part, it was me saying or doing stupid shit and her laughing about it or whatever. But we did. I mean, we had that goofy back and forth a lot of times. I don't think as
She,
much as I mean, yours and I, because here's the thing, you're on the same sort of intellect as I am, and you have that quick wit like I do. So, it's
it's fun.
it could be
It's
fun.
fun.
Yes, it could be fun.
I don't think we ever like have ever actually had like an argument. Obviously, we've had rough patches, but I feel like it's been
Oh
like
yeah.
me texting or emailing, and you're just like,
Yeah,
all right.
that's
But
you're
I
right. I don't
wonder
think
how we would do in an argument, just because I
yeah,
know how I am in an argument with like Austin, who's the exact opposite of me. So I'm like, would that be like a really bad argument?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't as I'm thinking back, I don't have we ever had like a full on
Not like
argument.
over the phone or in person. Like I've texted
No.
you when I've like been upset, and you're just like, let me know
Yeah,
when you
but
calm
it's
down.
yeah, right. I mean, it was it's hard to get sort of emotions and sort of
Right.
from a text. But yeah, you're right. I don't think we've ever really had this, like the way we ended our last episode. Bitch, click. We've never had that, right? Now, granted, I think your sister and I have. on a couple occasions, but you and I don't think it's ever been. We never gone
No,
blows to
I feel
blow.
like I've heard you, I don't want to say angry, but like I've heard you talk irritated or frustrated, and it is so similar to how like I react when I'm like agitated or something, where
Yeah.
it's like short at first, like for me in an argument, like I'm short, give 0 Fs, just nah, nah, nah. But there comes a point where I start actually like, okay, you want to do this? We can, you don't want to do this because I'm going to hurt your feelings, you
Right.
know? So
Yes.
it's just, so, and then it blows up and then I say things I really don't mean
Yep.
just to piss someone off because they already
We're
pissed
going
me
at it
off.
now. Yeah.
And then, but I feel like where we differ, I feel like you can walk away from
Yeah.
saying some really mean things and be like, bye. And by the time I'm done saying really mean things, I'm like, why don't can you love me again? Like, I'm sorry, but can you love me
Yeah.
again? Like, let's go cuddle. And Austin's like, the
Yeah.
hell? You just said all that to me. We're not gonna cuddle. I'm like, please, I love you.
You're right. I don't. And it's not that I'm emotionless or anything, but there is something in me that I'll get to. And to your point, it starts off with like I'm short, and then eventually it's just like I'm pulling the earrings off, kind of. Oh, it's about to throw down. I'm pulling my wig off, kind of thing, and I'm going at it. And I
Right.
will take it to a limit. And once I feel like okay, I've sort of painted the room black. Now I think we're done, or at least I'm done. It's like and I could literally walk away and go, yeah, tomorrow,
Okay.
2 weeks, I'll talk to you whenever you want, but I'm done. And I can literally just put it behind me.
Okay, so side note, really funny, because there has been arguments with me and Austin. Again, we're not perfect. We've had arguments and they have been knocked down, drag out fights before. In an argument, this is where things can get bad because of how different we are. When I am done and I say, leave me alone, like I'm done right now, you want to leave me alone. That's where I could shut down, walk away, and be good and like a little, just give me a little bit. But Austin's like, no, we're going to figure this out now. I'm like, you don't want to figure this out now. I've already gave you a warning. Give me a little bit. We can
Yeah,
figure it out.
yes.
Give me like an hour. Just give me an hour
Yeah.
to calm down. But I
Yeah.
keep being pushed, and that's when I explode. And that's the side of me that is very ugly. Like I will
Yeah.
say some really mean things
Yeah.
that I can't like
It's
I
not,
can't
yeah, it's
apologize well. I can't apologize
right.
well. And I'm
Well,
just
no, here's
like
the thing. I'm the same way. There's certain things I say. I was like, yeah, I'll never be able to unring that bell. Right.
oops. And you're just like,
Right.
hey, you hungry? You want to go get something to eat? Like,
Yeah.
is that
This
your
way, it's
apology?
like, I'm like, did you want the, yeah. Should I buy you
You want
another
me?
car? Whatever.
I was just about to say, did you want that boat?
Yeah. Is this house big enough?
I'm thinking we should
Yeah.
probably get a bigger one.
Yeah, because I just earned it, and so did you.
Yeah, yeah. So I do feel like we're similar there.
Yeah, we're
But
very similar. Yeah.
the I feel like in that difference is when you're ready to like, okay, you want to talk, cool. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of banter on like apologizing. I feel like you kind of just move forward. Like, let's just move forward.
Yeah.
Like, let's forget it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
You trying to
overthink. And I'm
dwell on
like,
it? Yeah.
no, I don't dwell on it, but I expect it to kind of just go back to normal. Like it never happened when like Austin wants to talk about it and wants an apology out of me or something. I'm just like, I'm sorry. I said like, I didn't mean that. And
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
how do you not mean that? That was pretty harsh. You obviously thought
Yeah.
about that. I'm like, yeah, you want to cuddle.
Right.
Is there a moment when you realized you didn't know me anymore? Or
Well,
like,
I
did
will
you have
say.
a moment where you're like, do I know her?
So whenever you went back that summer, and I got that email the next morning, I thought the first thing I did was I immediately went to defend you. I'm like, this is definitely not, Samantha. This was all her mom. Samantha probably doesn't even know she sent this. But then when I found out you did,
No, hold on.
no. Once I found out you knew that this was in
Oh,
the
okay.
works, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I
I
didn't know of an actual email like that
no,
was
no, no.
sent.
But this was in the works, right? That's when I was like, oh my God, I thought like she doesn't like me. I don't know who she is. Like, you know what I'm saying? I thought no. But I'm just saying, if there was, I mean, literally, if anything in the whole world, that's the only time where I thought, you know, I thought I would never talk to you again. I thought for certain that,
Really?
I didn't think you would want to talk to me again. I thought
Oh,
because of that happened, I'm like, oh, she just doesn't want anything to do with me, and I've lost her for good. You know, because at that moment I'd already I wrote off your sister because in January of that year she turned 18 on a Thursday, and on Sunday, that Sunday, even though she's still in high school, she decides that she's flying back. So I kind of figure, okay, well, I'm never getting that one back. I've got this one here to hang on to, right? I'm like, okay, we just got 50% cheaper.
think of the positive.
And so literally when that happened, and I can't remember what the conversation was. I remember kind of talking about like, that's fine, I'm just going to focus on Samantha, I got this, I'm going to make certain that she has what she needs to be prepared for life. And then the summer happened. That's when I'm like, I don't know who she is either. I mean, I
Goddamn
kind of knew
kids.
your sister. I know, right? I kind of knew that was your sister. I mean,
Right.
there was, because like I said, your mother had already primed that pump from the previous summer all the way up to that, or 2 years, the 2 years prior, all the way up to that point. So I kind of knew where that was going. But with you, it was a complete shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. But though, but once again though, but looking back on it now, once I've passed that the emotional aspect of it, looking back on it now, going, yeah, I kind of see it, because you kind of addressed it in the episode one about how mom was, easier. She didn't have as
I
many
was,
rules. Not that I was
well,
strict, but to your point, but
right.
yeah,
There was I was looking at my Facebook. I was looking at my old Facebook the other day because I actually have it deactivated, but sometimes I'll log in to like look at a picture or something because I had that Facebook forever. Well, I was going through the pictures and I had screenshotted. I after this episode, I'm going to try to find it again and send it to you. There was a status on Facebook that I had screenshotted of moms that was like played into that. I felt guilt. Like I felt guilt. I mean, it was this long status, and I posted it on that Facebook, and I was like, I miss my mommy so much. But it was just like, I mean, it was the definition of like how I'm like, this is the stuff that I'm seeing. Like, what do I do? Like this, like it was a battle. I do want you to know that I suffered,
yeah.
like it was
No,
a
I know you did.
battle mentally. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, who
No,
do I hurt?
well, no, and
Because
that's the
that's
thing. And so I don't know who I was talking to. It might have been Hamilton after that whole thing had happened, and I think it was Hamilton, and he made the comment about, well, remember, if because I remember that being a challenge for you, because feeling guilty about leaving your mom there, or your mom being all alone, type of thing. And I think the message from Hamilton was similar to like, well, look, don't add more pressure to her from this side. So I didn't want you to feel guilty about doing this to me. So I try my best not to, add more weight or more guilt or more pressure to you. And once again, I think it was because of the conversation I was having with Hamilton at the time, to say, look, because I was like, oh, because I literally went through all kinds of emotions, like, oh,
right.
I'm gonna kill her, it literally went from, and so it was, it's like, calm down,
Yeah.
but then that was the thing. I really hoped that even though it was chaotic, and even though it was, the way it played out, I hope that on the other end of it, or the other side of it, you didn't look back and go, well, Dad, you put just as much guilt or pressure on me, because I didn't want to be like that.
No, and I think I don't know how this is going to come out. I think I remember having a conversation shortly after the email or something, because I think I remember you going like, "Is this what you want?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and you're
Yeah.
like, "Okay." Mm, I don't know how you're
Well,
gonna take this one.
go ahead. I have an idea, but go ahead.
I felt like how quick you were just like, okay, even though in my teenage mind, I didn't realize that you were battling with all this. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, you don't want to fight for me? Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do remember having a little bit of that, a little
Yeah.
bit, but
I
then
was
I'm
worried
like,
about that.
you know,
Because so
I
so that
remember.
was part of the conversation that I was having. Was like, should I have got on a plane, flew back, and made a big deal about it? And that's where the Hamilton's conversation was like, no, 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 no. All you're gonna do is add more pressure. So it was literally it was a and I didn't know how to handle it. So I'm like, fine. Well, don't be calling me back up. I mean, I don't want to have this going back and forth constantly
Right.
because now it just becomes very emotional at that point.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of figured that. Yeah.
A little bit.
No, I was,
Well,
yeah, but I'm still like that today in the sense to where it's not like I'm like, fine, F you, that to whatever, or
right.
somebody, it's
Right.
if I feel like somebody slights me or, I don't want to come across as, I'm like, giving them the, screw you kind of thing.
Right. Right.
My personality is like, okay, let's just move on, then do something else.
Right.
Life's too short to sit here in this moment and die on this hill when I've got 1,000 other hills to climb.
I get
Right.
that. Oh.
I got to ask you some questions here that you
Okay.
put in
Okay.
here.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
And I
Sorry.
like
Sorry.
these, and I like these questions. So,
Okay.
okay. This was something
Oh.
we had we
Okay.
kind of had earlier in this episode. We talked a little bit about this.
I think I
So,
know what you're gonna. Uh huh.
was it hard? So, me having another daughter, is it hard watching me raise Audrey? And are you seeing things, or you look at it going, well, he didn't do that with me? I mean, how is this playing out with you?
So, anything that I have felt or do feel, I want to preference was saying that it would never, ever, ever be aimed towards Audrey, ever. Like,
Right,
she
right.
is, innocent. But I have found myself, maybe it's like a down day and I see something, I'm like, ooh, I have found myself sometimes jealous, a little
Right.
bit jealous. I'm like, man, I'm 28 years old, finding myself tad jealous of a 7-year-old during sometimes. And I'm like, and then that's when it's like, not her fault, not her fault. Like, obviously, never her fault. But there has been a few things. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster sometimes, where
Yeah.
maybe like, did you guys have a daddy daughter dance? Have you
Oh,
guys had that
yes.
yet? Okay, I
Yes.
think that's one of the things that I saw, and that's not even like, I didn't have one at all. Like, Megan at least got to go with Grandpa Ron. Like, nobody went with me. I didn't get
No, no,
one.
no, no. Your sister also had one with me.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there was
okay.
two things I did with your sister. We did a daddy daughter dance at her school. But
And a
remember,
gymnastics one, right?
and then she also had she was going to gymnastics school or dance school. And then
Okay.
in the dance school, we also had a father daughter dance. And then your
That's right,
sister
because
had
there
one
was a
with your
performance and
grandpa
stuff,
Ron.
right?
Yep,
Yeah.
there's a whole
Yeah, see,
performance. And so
I didn't get none of it.
because I left, in 2000, and you were
You
basically
left. I'm just kidding.
you were
So
turning
it's
5 years
your
old.
fault.
Well, you were turning 4. You were 4, turning 5. So I didn't get a
Right.
chance to have that opportunity with you.
Right. So there has been sometimes, or like, what was it that I thought was adorable that you did for Audrey, and I was like so happy, and then later I was like, uh, was it for her birthday? Oh, it was you made the special tickets for her and her friends, and like I thought, no, listen, don't ever not share that stuff with me because I love it.
Yeah, no.
I was so happy, and then I thought later, I'm like,
Well, yeah, it's funny you talk about things like that because yeah. So basically, there it was Moana 2
yes,
was about
yep,
to come out, and
yep,
so and we wanted to surprise Audrey, and so we were going to let her choose. I think 3 of her friends to go with us. And so to really make it special for her, I went and designed the Moana. It looks like, tickets like
yeah,
you would take to a
tickets, yeah,
movie
movie
theater.
tickets,
And I had each one of their names printed, and I had it all printed out, and it was in an envelope. Each
right,
kid got it, right? And so, but it's funny you talk about this because when I do things with Audrey, because I know that Kate's connected with you guys on social. I'm not. Once again, I'm not on social, so I don't have that
right,
that ability to share some of those. I know Kate though; she's connected with you guys, and she posts things to what we do. And when we have events or we do certain things and Kate posts them, I'm like, I worry about that. I'm like, oh, I know Megan and Samantha's going to see this. Are they going to go, why didn't you do that with me? And my reason is, you guys, I didn't get the chance to bring you with me full time to California from the very start.
Right.
Those are the things
Right.
would have loved to have done with you guys. But
Right.
but in the summertime, we did a lot in the summertime.
We did
We
so much during the summer.
crammed
We did
so much
listen.
in the
We did
summertime.
more. Those 6 weeks in the summer is more than we had ever done. Like the rest of the year ever.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
time. Like that's the time we were excited. Do you remember when we rode those mules up Yosemite?
Yeah. So that little
Yeah.
clip that I posted, that was with you with your little mule. Oh,
Yeah.
I loved it.
And
I loved it.
no, I was absolutely petrified that whole time. Mine was too close to the edge, and then the guy was like, "Oh, don't worry, we got rid of all the suicidal ones." I'm like, "Are you sure you didn't forget one? Because he's about to fall."
That was the funniest thing he could have said.
That was horrible.
It was awesome.
I
It was
remember
awesome.
I remember being petrified. That was the worst experience in the world. I'd never do it again.
But you did it.
I did. I did.
And you would have probably never had the chance to do it.
Never.
Right?
Never.
Yeah.
Never. And I also am jealous of the fact that my kids don't get to do some of the stuff that I did, because like we did so much fun stuff, like so much fun stuff that I like wish I could take them to do half this stuff. I'm sure I'll be able to one day. But we had a lot of fun.
So yeah, so my big thing was I when we do things, and I know they get posted and shared, I do worry. Like we just went to the safari a couple days ago, and we were having fun, and I think about you girls, right? And I think about the things that we did do, and then to see these events that I'm having with Audrey, I wonder how they play in your guys' mind.
Now it was a little harder at first initially, because she would literally post it on Facebook and then tag everybody. So it was like, not only did I have to see it, I was then tagged in it. So I'm like, and every time somebody liked it, commented, I was right. I'm like, all right, we did it. He's a great dad. I'm just kidding.
That part's staying in.
I think probably the first couple years it was a little bit harder, but I think that also plays into the fact that like the whole frontal lobe thing that I've been talking about, like that just switched for me in the last year and a half. So it's like, I'm still an emotional woman sometimes. I'm like, but I love that she gets that. I don't get upset because it's like now, what did I say the one day? Like maybe I didn't get the full experience with certain things, but I'm getting something even better, and that's my kids getting that full experience with, because he ain't leaving me.
What would you want Audrey to know about you? About the version of your dad you knew? Or is that two different questions?
I think so. What's the version of your dad you knew?
What would you want Audrey to know about you?
About me? Mm-hmm. Hold on. I want to go back real quick. So no, I want to go back real quick because it's not about the watching him raise another daughter. What pisses me off is I have been the little sister for 21 years.
Yeah.
And I finally have the opportunity to be the big sister. And it's like, I want to be the big sister that it's like, this is the stuff you should be doing and like being a good influence. But like, let me also sneak some stuff. Let's stay up till 2 instead. Dad said we gotta go to bed at 12. Let's stay up till 2. Like, I wish I could like have those fun moments, especially since there's such an age gap that I feel like it could be so much fun. Like, I want her to think that I'm the coolest person in this world. Little does she know, she knows no one else, and like I'm the lamest, but like in her eyes, I'm the coolest. Like, that's what I want.
She's like, Daddy, who's this old lady? Like, what do you mean? Well, listen, kid, this is how you win at bingo.
This is how you roll your own cigarettes. What I want her. That was the biggest cup I think I've ever seen. What the hell was that? Was that one of your like zombie survival shit? Like to canister water you gather from the river? You know, I've thought about drawing the map, but like total, like just like crayon style. Like, I am curious to see kind of like, I feel like you probably haven't changed much, but I also then feel like maybe with a little bit of the age, maybe your patience have gone a little lower than what they were. So, dad, I knew was like fun. You're still fun
Yeah.
and exciting. And you still had times where you're like, all right, we're done. But I don't know. I don't want to tell her about the dad I knew because she might be jealous. I'm just kidding.
No, all right. Got you back. So, right. Audrey won, Sam won. But no, I mean, I'm still like that in the sense to where I'll have to send you a few videos of us playing Pretty Pretty Princess, and I do win on occasion, and I go nuts when I win. I take videos, I mock her, I go nuts, and
When you
so
play
I have a
games with
lot of fun.
kids, we don't do participation trophies. There's winners and there's losers. If you
Yep,
lose,
I let you know.
also be like, you gotta relax. I'm like, no, I just beat his ass. Like, what do you want me
That's
to do? Like,
I know I get in trouble. I get in trouble all the time. I get in trouble, but I'm still that. I'm still very. I'm very hands on. I'm very
right.
connected. She started collecting Hot Wheels, so
Oh,
I we and so I buy her Hot Wheels every time I go to the store, at least two at a time. But we play Hot Wheels all the time. I mean, she's got the playhouse out back. I'm out there, going down her plastic slide with her, and I am
right,
like literally still that very animated, hands on, fun. And I get in trouble for being the fun dad all the time, but I'm still like
right,
that.
right. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like the dad I knew versus the one she has is probably similar. Maybe a little less patience
Yeah.
and a little bit more
No,
back
actually,
pain.
no, that's right. My knees are shot, baby. But no, I'm actually, I feel like I have probably more patience than what I did, at
Really?
least from my perspective. Yeah. When I think back, I feel like I kind of, that I got triggered too easy compared to the way I am now.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Maybe
I feel
your
like
give a F button broke or
I
has a
have,
short in it now,
I
so it's
have
like you're
no more F's to give. I don't, I really
yeah,
don't. And so
whatever
I
makes
think
her happy,
yeah, I don't give a shit. I mean, I'll
as long
be
as you're
dead
not
in like
hurting
3
yourself.
years.
Don't say that.
Right. No, I mean, I'm like 92 by now. But no, I mean, I do feel like maybe I'm a little bit more, well, maybe I'm a little bit more tolerant. What else we got here? Oh, what advice would you give Audrey in 10 years?
In
So
in
when
10
Audrey hits that,
years,
yeah, when Audrey hits that 17,
mm,
18, when she's
Take it
about,
easy on dad. He's actually super emotional. He just hides it all, but he cries himself to sleep at night. So don't be mean to him.
and I'll be 63 when she turns 18.
And he knows everything. So don't even try.
Yeah, don't even
But
try.
just call me when you actually want to get away with something.
hold on, how old would I be?
Well, let's see. You're 21 years
Almost
older, right?
40. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I'll be almost 40. Don't
Yeah.
call me. I'm just kidding. Matter of fact, scratch that. Don't call me.
What do you want, sweetheart?
It's your sister.
I mean, now that you've had that frontal lobe development that we've talked about with that new sort of perspective on life, what would you tell not just Audrey, but what are you going to tell somebody when
Teenage
they're
girls in
18?
general?
Yeah.
That relationship's probably not going to last. So don't dwell on it. Don't cry about it. Who gives a shit what anybody else thinks of you? If somebody doesn't like you, good. Like you're actually not doing something right if people don't like you. Have to have. There will always be haters. Always. Your best friend, you won't last either. So like those high school teenage relationships, whether it's like relationships or friendships, they're not going to last. If you do have that one friend, hold on to it. Never pick boys over your friends, ever, unless it's your husband. Then that's a whole other thing. Don't settle. Don't get pregnant. If he says he can't wear one because he can't feel anything, he's lying. Blue balls is a lie. Don't listen to that. And if your doctor says you can't get pregnant, that's a lie as well. Because I had 4 pregnancies, and my doctor was like, "You can't get pregnant. You're not going to hold a baby till term. Don't listen to it." I got pregnant with Gage. She's like, "You're not going to carry this baby till term." I was like, "Okay." I did. And then when I got pregnant with Xander, she's like, "Oh, no, like this, yeah, this is going to end in a miscarriage." I'm like, "Okay." And then it didn't. And then like Macy, and she was like, "Oh, your thingamajig is pointing backwards." And I'm like, "Okay, when was I not?" You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of kids there for me not to be able to have kids.
Hang on. As I'm going through your notes, by the way, this episode was brought to you by Sammy Hamilton. As I'm going through your notes that you sent me,
Sammy.
you're like, wrap up connection and growth, be vulnerable. You say you got to remind yourself, be vulnerable, it's for the show.
Show empathy. Real-time healing. Wrap up with connection and growth.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it. You got a good one on here. Let's do this one right here. You've got one on here under real-time healing. What are we still working on? You put it on there, so that means you've got something in mind.
I think we're perfect.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
yeah, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, come on. Organized chaos.
And if we're not, this is only episode 2. I was going to say, this is only episode. We got a long way to go.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't think anything. I feel like we've really had, I mean, especially like with I feel like episode 1, I told Austin afterwards, I was like, there's a lot of things talked about that I think we just like kind of brushed under the rug and we're like, we're good. And then finally it came out and we're like,
now that we have a platform, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It took us starting this to, like connect. I'm just kidding.
But it's like, I see your side. You see, there was a lot of things. There was closure and a lot in episode 1. And I think it was really good. I think that was good. I don't care.
Like I told you, I've watched it at least 5 times now. Now, granted, no, by the way, that's 5 times after I did the final cut, right? The final director's cut. Once I put it up there, and then I put it in the private mode for you to review. After I did the director's cut, I've watched it 5 times. And I've listened to it twice. I need
to still download so I can listen to like the audio part, because I've watched it, I think the one time you sent it to me, and then like the final, and then since it's been uploaded, so it's like I've watched it 3 times, and I've gone back and like looked how many views it's gotten. Listen, the other thing about me though is I come off as if I have thick skin, but I don't. I really don't. I take a lot of things people say to me to like heart, unless it's like stupid shit. If someone's like, "You're ugly," I'm like, I know I'm not. But if it's something that hits home a little bit, I'm like, I kind of internalize it a little bit. I don't have thick skin.
I personally don't give 2 craps about what anyone thinks or says.
It's gone. It's progressed. Like I used to care a lot. I don't care.
About to get real.
There's one thing I care about, and it eats at me. It does not matter what other people think. It does not matter. But there's one thing that I feel like I have to prove to people, and I'll tell you why I feel like I have to prove it. But when I talk about me and Austin's relationship and how good it is and how perfect we are, and when I say perfect, we obviously have our issues, but I get so pissed off when other people think a couple my age, me and Austin, can't actually have a good, healthy relationship, and they think that it's all a front, or like, oh, they have total issues, or I get so pissed off. And it's like, because one, I work damn hard to get this man and keep this man. I'm like, you're gonna know. And I don't care what they think. I know that we're good. We know that we're good. But if somebody else thinks that we're not, and this is based off a TikTok that went viral of Austin. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Huh.
Okay.
Well, on TikTok, so.
It has over 1 million views. Okay.
Wow.
Long story short, he came home and I had snuck record him. He was gone all week. and he wanted me to put on this nightgown, and it seriously is like just like a nightgown, not lingerie. It was a cute little pink nightgown. And I was like, just love me ugly tonight. Like, just love me for me in my natural state. And the video, oh God, I got to play it real quick.
You
Do we
have to send it or play it.
Okay.
Yeah, play it.
Do you think I feel pretty? Do you think that everything has to be lust-filled love when typically we don't lust-filled love anything anymore because we look like lust-filled, luscious fucking bullshit? I just want to see you in that dress. That's it.
It's over 1.5 million views. And now 90% of the comments were like, girl, go put that dress on. Like, what are you doing? But then there's other people, and I rationally, like, I know this, that they're, what is it, deflecting their problems. And they're like, like, oh, this must be new. If they come home wanting new things, they're cheating. Or, wow, he's such a shitty person. Like, I mean, just like going off about the relationship on a quick little view, you know. But most people are like, oh my God, that's so cute. He just wants to see you. Yeah. Go put the nightgown on. What are you doing? But there's something in me that's like, okay, maybe it's because I've been through so many shitty relationships. And I'm like, no, you guys, like, he's perfect. He's perfect. Believe me. And they're like, no, nobody's perfect your age. I'm like, no, listen, like, we're going to be the 80-year-old on the front porch swinging. Like, he is perfect. Believe it.
At the end of the movie Notebook.
Like, literally, like, and that's the only time I care about what people think is when it comes to my relationship. And it's like, that's when you shouldn't, because like, I don't need to prove anything, but it's like, I want to. I don't want little women, young women, to settle for those shitty guys that treat them like shit and cheat on them constantly, because cheating is not a thing that you get over in a relationship. It's not.
Right.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah. Because that's one of the pillars. Trust is one of the pillars of any relationship. And if that pillar is gone, it's no longer solid, right? It's always going to have an imbalance.
There are things that you can work through, that couples work through, you know, money, financial issues, sobriety. Like, there are things that you do stick around and work through. Cheating's not one of them. And that's why I think I feel so defensive when people are like, they're not perfect, they act perfect. No, we are.
but you're taking the right mindset, because when I hear people do that, I immediately go, oh, okay, so you're in a screwed up relationship. Exactly. And you're so unhappy, and therefore misery loves company. So you either expect everything to be that crappy, or you want everything to be that crappy.
Exactly. Somebody said, happy people aren't hating, and hating people aren't happy.
Exactly.
Is really what it is.
Oh, right. That's somebody, I want to steal that. That's a Daily Morganism.
So let's do the wrap up. So end with you, advice to dads raising daughters, either from a distance or in general. Probably speak on general and distance, because I feel like we can, you know,
as long as we can also flip that model, and then you provide advice to daughters dealing with dads from a distance. Because remember, there's a lot of daughters whose fathers are overseas in the military, and they don't get that day-to-day interaction. I mean, sometimes in those cases, they don't have the opportunity, like I did, to call you at any time I want, right? So I want your perspective as well. So from my perspective, from a father, you know, trying to, you know, deal with daughters, my advice to other fathers would be kind of how we started this episode, is stay involved, get involved, and stay involved. And once again, and I still talk about this, Samantha, to this day, I still talk about this. One of the best things that maybe it was more for me than you, that I ever did with you girls from the distance, is when, like I said, when you guys were reading books in school, I looked forward to going and buying those books and reading them with you. I still, to this day, it's one of my biggest things that I talk to Audrey about is reading with her. I spent her entire birth to kindergarten reading to her. When she first started kindergarten, I told her, you're going to start reading at the end of this year. You get to read mommy and daddy a bedtime story. And she did at the end of kindergarten. She was able to read. And so we picked out a book and she read us a bedtime story. So reading was important. So being involved and either getting involved or staying involved would be my advice to fathers, who's trying to manage that distant relationship with their kids.
I like that. And mine to the daughters would be, go easy on dad. There are things that fathers, I think, is a man thing. They don't like being super vulnerable. They're the strong man figure in your life, but they still have feelings. They still deal with things that maybe they don't express to you. So remember, there is a saying that I saw the other day that I think is perfect for this, is it's your dad's first time living too. He's still learning. He's still going through all of this. It's his first time living. So be easy on dad. He loves you. He loves you. He loves you. Even when maybe you're mad at him and you feel like he's being an ass, he still loves you. And one thing that I say to my kids that I feel like maybe goes to the daughters of this kind of still is, or kids in general, not just daughters, but kids in general. Anything and everything your parents do, most parents do, is for you. Even when you feel like maybe they're being an ass, there's a reason for that. There's a reason behind that. It's either to protect you, help you learn something. There's a reason for most of what your parents do. And it's always at the end of the day, you're the reason somehow or another. Yeah. I tell my kids that all the time. I'm like, mom's not trying to be mean. Mom's trying to. That is cute. Where did you get that?
Audrey gave it to me.
Oh, but I tell the kids all the time, I'm like, I'm not trying to be mean. I am trying to protect you. I tell you, don't jump from the top of the stairs, Robbie. It's not because I'm being mean or not fun. It's because I don't feel like going to the hospital when you crack.
Because we don't have insurance.
No, the kids still have insurance. I don't. I know. We're good there.
No, I was talking about the house. Don't break the house. The house don't have insurance.
Oh no, I think that was good. Maybe we cut out the silly stuff and end it on cue.
Yeah. I love you.
I love you too, Dad.
Hey guys! Shut up!